welcome everyone here. Thank you so much for being here. Can everyone hear me okay? I know it's kind of loud with the speaker going over there. But wanted to, again, welcome you here and say thank you for supporting this work, for being a part of Urban Homeworks this past year. Ann and I wanted to share just a little bit of an update on what we've been doing in 2023, what we have coming up for 2024. It's been a busy time. It's going to be a busy time. Probably most notable, when I started 2.5 years ago here at Urban Homeworks, we were continually told, and people I was coming in contact with, they're like, I've never heard of Urban Homeworks before. And our team in marketing communications said, like, we want to change that. Like, there's something incredible happening here. We want to change this. So we had a goal in 2023 of being mentioned at least 7 times by news and other entities. I was just looking at our numbers. In 2023, we've been mentioned 31 times in news, by congregational partners, and just shout out for all the things that we're advocating for, we're building, we're talking about, we're doing in partnership with our neighbors. So that's an indicator of what all has been happening this past year as we continue to grow, as we continue to advocate for housing justice across the metro. And that's certainly another big thing that happened this year. For a couple years, we've been talking about how do we create a mission and vision that really aligns with our goals and our future, and particularly creating a vision that is centered on the housing justice that we want to accomplish through this organization, and a mission that invites congregations and donors and residents and homeowners to come alongside us with. And so just even a couple months ago, our board updated our mission and vision with a vision of housing justice for all, and a mission to lead the fight for housing justice so that all people have a safe, dignified, and stable place to live. And this is just a really incredible moment for Urban Homeworks to really hone in our work and create kind of this rallying cry for people from all walks of life to be able to recognize the incredible importance of housing justice in our neighborhoods, and recognizing what that means when we're talking about rentals, when we're talking about homeownership, when we're talking about policy. And so those are some of the big things that happen organizationally. And then when we talk about like what we've been doing in the community engagement and the public policy side, we certainly are seeing a lot of the screenshots here. We've had 2 housing justice forums. We had 168 volunteers offering over 1,800 hours of volunteer service in our apartments and on our homes. You'll see a lot of the video of Tammy and Asali Soul continually going to the legislature this past year, advocating for limits on corporate entities buying up single-family homes, and advocating for additional rental assistance, and advocating for additional investment in North Minneapolis home ownership. And that's certainly one that really hit home for us when the legislature gave Urban Homeworks $5 million to build at least 15 more homes for deeply affordable home ownership. And I think it's really important to recognize what that's actually allowing us to do is that a typical home ownership opportunity that we build is available to a family of 4 who's making about $96,000 a year. That's a lot of money still. What the appropriation is allowing us to do is to make those homes affordable to individuals making a whole lot less and subsidizing the difference. And so already Ann will talk a little bit, we're making the plans for like how do we make the absolute most of that money, those dollars. I have to say as a fundraiser, those dollars are just for the bricks and mortar of building those 15 homes. They do not fund the additional staff capacity, the additional systems that we need, the additional processes that we need, because we are tripling our housing supply with that appropriation, which is an incredible opportunity. So that's a bit of an update in the equity and engagement policy, community engagement space. I'll turn it over to Ann to talk about our rentals and our construction.
Thanks a lot. I'm Ann Ketz. I'm the real estate director. I haven't met you yet. I do not have my talking points polished, so I'm just reading my little piece of paper. That's all right. Thanks. I'm going to talk about the real estate development team first and what we've been doing, and that ties into the appropriation, what we're building, what's coming up. So it's been a really rough few years with COVID and inflation and everything happening that we weren't building anything for a few years. We did sell 2 houses this year, and that was basically what we were able to get done between 2020 and now. finally got fully funded. Those are going to be fully passive certified, which means they're super energy efficient. And we're super excited about those. It's the first ones we've done. And those are all in North Minneapolis. Some of the benefits that come from that is significantly lower heating and utility costs, as well as North Minneapolis is known for one of the highest asthma rates in the city, in the state of Minnesota, 5 times the average, given the pollution in the neighborhood. So it's going to really help with the indoor air quality, and we're really excited to hopefully continue building more of these types of super energy efficient homes. Those will be sold next summer. And then in 2024, we're working on, we've got a triplex project that we're working on. It's our first cooperative ownership project. It's in partnership with Black Lives Unitarian Universalism. They're the owners, we're the developers, helping them with all of our expertise. But we've also been really interested in cooperative ownership as another option for affordable ownership with a different sort of entry point than your traditional mortgage option. And that should be hopefully breaking ground here this winter. We're all set for winter construction. And then in the spring, we've got another passive house, one more passive house we're starting, and then we'll be starting to execute on our appropriations after that, which we're looking at. It's going to be a phased approach. We've got until 2027 to use that $5 million. So in 2024, we're looking at 3 to 4 single-family homes, something that we've already been doing. It'll be a little bit easier to get going. And then 2025 to 2027, we've got lots of different options we're looking at and trying to nail down right now. Might be some multifamily, again, like some smaller duplexes or triplexes with multifamily ownership, or some rehab, some new construction. It's kind of going to depend on where the market's at and what's available and where best options are. But either way, it's all going to predominantly be either in North Minneapolis or in our other presence, our other big presences in the Phillips neighborhood in South Minneapolis. So that's all really exciting, and it's been a frustrating few years for real estate development and getting things going, but things are moving. The less exciting but still really important share is about our rental properties. It's been an incredibly difficult year for our rental properties, on top of several difficult years since COVID as well. We all know that healthy, affordable rental market is the bedrock of stable housing, but we all have deferred maintenance, high receivables, and unexpected security needs, and it's been a struggle across all of our housing providers, particularly the nonprofit housing providers that are providing really deeply affordable units. There was a really good article from the Star Tribune recently that touched on this. That was just on November 19th. It was really focused on common bond communities, but it really talked about all of us nonprofit housing providers that are struggling with security issues and deferred maintenance, and just not having the funds available to do the work that needs to happen. And we're certainly in that boat. We're subsidizing our rental properties to the tune of about $5,000 per unit per year, which is around $700,000 every year. And that includes just, that's where we're at. We've also really seen a rise in drug use and sales this last year with the fentanyl crisis that's been hitting our communities, which has brought in extra property damage and crime in our neighborhoods and really decreased safety for our residents. We had a significant problem around 21st and Emerson Avenue North in North Minneapolis. We actually had to vacate one of our buildings because it was overrun. And it impacts everyone around the community. And we saw around $250,000 in damages to our properties this summer from that, and we're working to get them fixed up and released. And then at the same time upgrading security, lighting, and cameras and things like that to keep it a safe, livable space. And then on top of that, the other thing that we did this year was we completed capital assessments on all of our rental properties, which we know that we've got deferred maintenance, as I've said, and it's looking like we're around the need for $9.5 million in capital repairs over the next 10 years, and about $8.5 million of that needs to happen in the next 5 years, and about $3 million of that needs to happen in the next year. So there's a lot of things that are really urgent need. And we're going to probably have to make some hard decisions about what can and cannot be done in the next year. unless something becomes an emergency and we're having to figure out how to fund it. Our sort of our long-term goals around our rental properties that may be new information for some folks. So we have 133 units right now in 42 buildings, mostly around North and South Minneapolis. We are looking at long-term splitting our properties into our duplex portfolios and our other properties that are 4+ units. We want to keep all of our sort of larger properties in long-term affordable rental, and our long-term goal for our duplexes is to sell them into owner occupancy. So we've got 29 duplexes, and it's not all going to happen at once. We want to be really strategic about it. We want to sell affordably. We want to support wealth building, but that's instead of kind of keeping them tied up with the other properties, the way that our financing is, which I can explain to you if anyone wants to hear about it. That's our long-term goal. And there is a big movement in the cities as well that's being co-led by Family Housing Fund and land-based cities that's really focused on this multifamily ownership as a means of wealth building. And so we're really looking forward to getting our hands into that in the next several years here as well.
And I think what, like, in hearing from Ann, and I was saying this earlier in this conversation, like, for Urban Homeworks, what you hear in the way that we do our work is that there's something for everybody. We have rentals available to individuals who are coming out of homelessness, all the way through dignified rentals and homeownership opportunities. What we're talking about now for 2024 and beyond are cooperative opportunities, townhouse opportunities, being able to buy a duplex that actually then funds your mortgage. What we're all about when we talk about housing justice is being able to find a home that is available for you at a level that works for you and your family and your loved ones. And we recognize that that's not the same for everybody. And so I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for giving to this work. This is meant to be a celebration and a donor happy hour of recognizing that you're all a part of that. It takes a lot to accomplish all of that. In 2023, our goal has been to raise $1.9 million in order to move that work forward. We have a goal of about $500,000 more that we want to raise before the end of the year. Really, more than anything, to set us on the right foot for 2024, being able to accomplish all that Ann is talking about and all that we have planned for equity engagement, for our homeownership pathways work. And so just a huge thank you for all of you for being a part of that, for giving generously to that. It takes so many folks to make something like this happen. We're a staff of 14 people at Urban Homeworks, but we're a community of thousands of people who have come together for volunteering and donating and showing up at the legislature and coming to different events and learning and just being able to understand that housing justice is possible in our community and being passionate about it. So thank you all for that. We're here for questions. Love to give any additional details if you have any, but also just want to give you time to connect with other people who also care, like you, about housing justice. So thank you for being here.